Welcome to the session. This is Pradeep Kumar from Department of CSC JIT Mangaluru. So we were discussing about different IoT transport layer protocols. And in the last session, we have seen COAP protocol. So that is how we discussed how it can be communicated with the server. So nothing but a unicast and multicast. So for a group of users or group of connectivity can be established using client server approach, and the data can be received on the other side. So we have discussed COAP along with the UDP and TCP. So if it is a TCP, there is a guarantee of delivering the message. If it is a UDP, there is no guarantee at all. We took some examples while discussing with that. Today we'll continue with that topic. Today we are going to discuss about MQTT. So now this MQTT is one of the important concept. There is message queuing, telemetry, transport. So how this came to picture? How this is linked with the IoT? In general, the research in 1990s or in the end of the 1990s, engineers from IBM and ARCOM, they developed and implemented the particular protocol, message queuing, telemetry, transport protocol. So why this MQTT came to picture is, so they need a protocol or they need a standard with security as well to transmit and receive the messages from different gas stations. From far, they're supposed to maintain the communication standard as it is a reliable or lightweight and cost-effective protocol, just to monitor and control when they have large number of sensors and their data in a control in a server or centralized server location. So in general, we may give an example of oil and gas industries. Like for example, if you consider as an example, say in Saudi Arabia or in Kulli countries, in general, if you can say, those who manufacture petroleum products. So they have a centralized server in land or in a far location. So the actual oil refinery may be in different other places. So to monitor this kind of far distance, so they needed a cost efficient or cost effective protocol. So they developed and implemented this MQTT protocol. So after that, so this is, they thought that this must be standardized. So standardized by the Organization for the Advancement of Structured Information Standard, OSS. So one of the major standard that we will follow with respect to communication standard is concerned with when we say MQTT as a protocol. So using OSS or Organization for the Advancement of Structured Information Standards, they standardize it so that everyone can utilize. Because with respect to oil and gas industries is concerned, so the people or the machinery should work under extreme conditions, right? So in these extreme conditions, they need a simple protocol. So in which the particular protocol may supply only few options. It was designed at that time. So based on the sensor data which is collected through WAN, wireless area network, they are supposed to communicate with the server. But at that time, WAN or wide area network didn't have that much support as a backhaul communication or very effective background support, and they had bandwidth constraint as well. There are more delay was taking place because of this unreliable communication lines. So that's why they selected client server approach or publish subscribe framework, which is based on TCP/IP architecture. So client server or publish subscribe framework. So both the client server and publish server almost similar. We'll see how this client server or publish subscribe framework can be adopted with this MQTT, message queuing, telemetry, transport. Please look after the diagram, follow my cursor. So over here in the left hand side of the diagram, we have a MQTT client, a client setup, MQTT client, or we'll call it as publisher. On the other side, we have several applications. So applications, in the sense, it is nothing but a standalone application, standalone clients, different MQTT clients as subscriber. In between, to connect from publisher to this subscriber, we need someone who is nothing but message broker or MQTT server. So we'll see in detail. So by considering the same example, oil and gas industry, in the oil rigs, there the actual implementation via this MQTT is they're supposed to monitor temperature and humidity level in that particular oil rig. Temperature, so common or standard temperature should be maintained throughout the process. If something goes wrong, there will be a huge loss. There should be continuous monitoring, and humidity as well. Environmental humidity also monitor. So only they had very little bit sensors. In the sense, only few sensors has been connected to the network. So now those sensors are nothing but clients, publishers. You can say publisher, because those sensors produces sensor data. So that particular sensor data is supplied to the application on the other end via message broker. So message broker is nothing but MQTT server. So how it works actually? So initially the client or from publisher side, they're supposed to request a connection establishment towards the server, and the server should identify the client as genuine and authenticated. Then he'll provide with an acknowledgement, yes, you can proceed with the communication, as an acknowledgement from the server side. So then the client will start to transfer the data. So that is general structure with respect to client server mechanism. So over here, with respect or with the MQTT, so clients subscribes to all data or specific data from the information tree of a publisher. So over here, with respect to publisher, based on the sensor data, it may receive many sensors data, temperature, humidity, but these subscribers may need only few data or all data based on the usage. So these applications in the right hand side as a subscriber part situated in the different location. So normal machinery should accept those data. Machines should accept those data without processing. Processing will happen in the server side, in the message broker part. So they can have those sensor data over here. So now, why this message broker is in between will handle those data. So this message broker will ensures, it will certify the information can be buffered from this side and cached for a few minutes of time. If there is any network failure, then it may serve to these particular applications. So this message broker will keep track of all those information from the client or publisher and keep it in its cache memory. And whenever a need, then that data is supplied to the respective applications. So as it is a lightweight protocol, so that each control packet in this, so we should have a control packet so that the acknowledgement or sequence number should be monitored. So if around 2 byte header length, 2 byte length, we'll see the message format as well. So that is how it works. And on the other hand, if it is a TCP, so this MQTT control packets can be transmitted over a TCP. So TCP is nothing but connection oriented, so that we can have a lossless stream of bytes between this MQTT client and MQTT server, so that everything is maintained as synchronously. There is a sync between MQTT client and server, because this is an uh, authenticated connection establishment between MQTT client and MQTT server. So with respect to this, it will have 4 phases. First one is session establishment, then authentication, data exchange, and session termination. So with respect to the first phase, session establishment, MQTT client should request the MQTT server for a session establishment, saying that suppose to the MQTT client should advertise by its name, ID, and why it needed the session or connection. That is from MQTT client side. Now, coming to authentication part, this authentication part are verified by the MQTT server. By receiving session establishment request from the client, MQTT server should authenticate the MQTT client, saying that it is original and authenticated MQTT client, as it is already registered with the MQTT server. So that is authentication. This authentication takes place from server side. Then the third phase is data exchange. Once this authentication process is done by the server, then MQTT client is free to send the message. So that message contains sensor data. So sending the sensor data and receiving the processed data from the server, that is data exchange, will takes place. So once that data exchange is over, then session can be terminated. So this session termination can be done based on the number of packets received by the server, as it supplies acknowledgement together. If it is a TCP, as it is guaranteed delivery of packets. So then once the session is terminated, if the particular client wanted to start again, then the message broker or MQTT server will have the client ID. So using that client ID, MQTT client can request for another session. So now this is initial setup. Then each client connecting to a server has unique client ID to recognize it, which allows identification of the MQTT session between client and server. On the right hand side of this particular diagram, that is from, please follow my cursor, message broker, from message broker towards application, or from application towards message broker. This particular part, right hand side part, subscriber part, server to subscriber connection. So when the server is delivering an application message to more than one client, then each client is treated as independently, because each client will have client ID. It is unique. So all the clients should be registered in the MQTT server or broker, message a broker, so that each client will be treated as separately and independently. And once individual client is identified with the server, server will partition who is as a client, as a publisher, who and all are the clients as subscriber, right? So that once the subscribers are ready, again they'll have a separate ID. So subscriptions to resources will generate subscribe and subscribe acknowledgement control packets. So what is this? Subscriptions to resource generate subscribe or subscribe acknowledgement control packets. That means So now please observe in the diagram. So we have an arrow mark from message broker towards application. So that is application nothing but MQTT client subscriber. So this particular client is subscribed for a particular data from this message broker. Consider as an example. So this particular application requests only for temperature data. So this particular client is subscribed only for that particular temperature data. So once this temperature data is received on the other side, for each data it should send acknowledgement. That is what this particular point say, subscribe acknowledgement. And once the subscription is over, that is the duration of a transmission is over, unsubscription can be performed by exchanging unsubscribe or unsub acknowledgement control packet. So this is one of the important tasks in MQTT session between client and server, or we can say publisher and subscriber, unsubscribe and subscribe. So for both the cases, we must use subscribe acknowledgement and unsub acknowledgement because it is a TCP connection. And once that is also done, so they can terminate using disconnect control packet. So using disconnect control packet, which identifies the client for reconnect if there is a need by resending its client ID, because the ID is generated once it is a registered client, either it is a MQTT publisher or a server, subscriber, in both the cases. So once the ID is generated, that is permanent. So based on that connectivity, so client can request for a connection by sending the client ID to resume the operations. And so now the message broker will keep track of all these by using a lookup table. So each lookup table entry will have a client name, client ID corresponding for publisher and for subscriber along with the topic. So topic in the sense what data has been requested by the subscriber, individual subscribers, and which data sent by the publisher or client, MQTT client. So that is as in the form of table, so that it will be helpful to filter out messages for its subscribers, because each subscriber may have different kind of data with respect to its applications. Maybe this particular subscriber may receive only temperature data, this particular sensor may receive only humidity data, this particular subscriber may receive both the data. So this filtering mechanism can be mapped in message broker via using their topic name or what they are subscribed for. So this is how MQTT message queuing telemetry transport works. It's also the form of MQTT client server mechanism. So we'll see that header format. So message format. So this is the message format of MQTT. So 1 byte. So that 1 byte has message type, duplication, quality of service, retain, remaining length, variable header that is optional, payload as it is optional. Fixed header present, which presents in all MQTT control packets. Then we have variable header, which is present in some MQTT control packets. We'll see that what it is in detail. And then the payload. So now, so first MQTT that contains smaller header of 2 bytes when compared with the 4 bytes of COAP. That is what we discussed in our previous discussion. Then we have something called message type over here. Message type. Please follow my cursor together. Message type. So this message type identifies kind of MQTT packet within a message. So in this we have around 14 types. So 14 types of message types we have in this. So what we have in that, we'll see about those types in detail later. So message type, which should identified by that message type. It will have 14 types of message types. So we can designate using the type number so that we can easily identify what we have in that. Then we have DUP, that is duplication flag. So this duplication flag is set. It allows the client to notate the packet has been sent previously, but an acknowledgement was not received. That means, for example, if a particular DUP is set, that means the client will notate nothing but number it or acknowledge for previous packets when there is acknowledgement has been not sent or not received from the other side, saying that the client to notate the packet has been sent previously, but acknowledgement was not received from the other side. If there is any problem with the network at that time, if the acknowledgement is not received from the other side, then while sending the next packet, this DUP flag must be set so that the other side assumes that the packet has been received, the previous packet has been received. Otherwise, if there is no, if there is zero for this duplication flag, then that means again they have to send the previous packet. Then we have a QoS, quality of service. We have three types, three different quality of service levels. We have seen already QoS. So we'll see that part also. And then we have a retain flag. Retain flag, which will found only in a publish message. So what it will do, notifies the server to hold on to the message data. For example, if there is a large sized data that has to be sent from publisher to subscriber, so the message broker will note down the length of the data so that if retain flag is set, then until this retain flag is set, till that particular packet, that will be treated as a one single data. On the other hand, we can divide large number of large sized data into smaller pieces that we know. So each divided packet will have a sequence number. So that is maintained by this retain flag. Then we have a remaining length. So it is a mandatory field. So this mandatory field specifies number of bytes in the MQTT packet following this particular field. That means after this particular packet, the MQTT packet specifies the number of bytes which is to be followed. That is how MQTT format for remaining length. Then variable header. So this variable header which may present in some of the MQTT control packets. So what are these control packets are? If a particular MQTT server has to be maintained with the client, saying that for some of the clients, if they subscribe only for few only for a few period of time, or for some period of time, they may need only some amount of data, and then they may unsubscribe that one. Again, they subscribe for new sensor data. At that time, there should be a control packet for a clear cut differentiation. So for these things, we can make use of this variable header by highlighting the differentiation between the data for subscribers, different subscribers. Then payload, again it is an optional. So this payload which is present in some of the MQTT control packets. So during this particular switching over different subscribes different data at that time, so we can have this particular kind of payload setup. On top of these, say first two partitions are fixed. It's present in all the MQTT control packets, should be mandatory for all those. So rest of the two that is highlighted in the little bit darker shade, this is optional. Based on the requirement, this should be set, or this should be, the data should be added over here, either header or payload. So we had message type, around 14 types we have. We have duplication flag. If the acknowledgement is not received for the previous packet, then for the current packet, by sending the current packet, we can set up this particular flag saying that previous packet has been received with an acknowledgement. Quality of service, around three types of services we have. Retain flag to maintain the continuity. with different packets. Remaining length, it will identify the size in bytes. The next consecutive MQTT size, a packet size has been defined in this particular remaining length. So that is MQTT message format. Any clarification? Any clarification or any doubt can ask.